They have a reputation for a reason. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 worst things GameStop has ever done. For this list, we'll be looking at some of the worst and most controversial things that GameStop, and to an extent their international subsidiary EB Games, has ever done. These can include sketchy business practices, poor treatment of employees, and events that earn the company public backlash. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below.
When we remember who we really are, yeah. 'Cause we're together, everyone, in this quarantine.
Number 10. Employee horror stories.
That's where GameStop is at. You are not going to go in there and talk about games. You're not. It doesn't work like that.
The internet is a public place, and it's a wonderful venue for airing some dirty laundry. Unfortunately for GameStop, that includes ex and sometimes current GameStop employees talking crap about the company. Punch in words like working at GameStop into YouTube and Google and watch the flood of results roll in. And over at Glassdoor, a website devoted to ranking companies, GameStop sits at just a 2.9 out of 5. Most of the complaints revolve around the minuscule pay and corporate BS, but also tend to get very specific as well. More on that in a bit. But for now, just know that GameStop seems like a horrible place to work.
The amount of error was just insane.
Number 9. Overpricing Xenoblade Chronicles.
Shulk.
Fiora.
In April 2012, Monolith Soft and Nintendo's Xenoblade Chronicles was released in the North American market. Unfortunately, very few copies were actually manufactured due to low demand, and GameStop snagged exclusive distribution rights. This meant that if you wanted a physical copy of the game, you had to go through GameStop. They controlled the supply chain, and because they controlled the supply, they artificially inflated the market and sold the game for $90. This earned some controversy within the gaming community, and when Nintendo was approached by Destructoid, they essentially said, "Don't look at us, we didn't price it that way." Number 8. Excessive waste.
Why is it that you throw away all of your items instead of donating them to kids? Let's see, we got Madagascar, you could donate this to a hospital.
In 2014, IGN reported on the secret world of GameStop dumpster diving. According to them, GameStop regularly throws away old games, accessories, controllers, strategy guides, and store displays. Retail space in small GameStop stores are a hot commodity, and anything that isn't deemed essential is typically thrown in the dumpster. Some GameStop stores are set to practice a field destroy policy, which sees them destroying products to prevent dumpster diving. This includes scratching or snapping discs, shredding guides, and cutting controller cords. However, in response to a particularly popular YouTube video, GameStop claimed they only throw away already damaged and defective products. Otherwise, the unwanted products go to charity.
I'm glad you cut the disc. Call of Duty, cut the disc. MLB, cut the disc. Mass Effect, cut the disc. You cut the disc.
Number 7. Circle of Life policy.
I want a trader in. Just released.
It's the Circle of Life, but in this case, that's not a good thing. Back in 2017, Kotaku's Jason Schreier reported on a new GameStop policy called the Circle of Life. This policy prioritized pre-orders, used game sales, and trade-ins. What it didn't prioritize was new game sales. If specific stores and employees were primarily selling new games and not hitting their Circle of Life quota, they would be threatened with severe punishment. Due to this, employees were hiding and refusing to sell new consoles, and when a new game went on sale, they would lie to customers about their stock and show them the more expensive used copies instead. Number 6. Used games market.
Alright. Yeah.
GameStop puts such a large emphasis on used game sales because that's where most of their profit derives. However, it's how much they buy used games that has sellers fuming. Despite their heavy marketing on used games, the amount of money you'll get for selling or trading in a game usually only nets you dollars in the single-digit margin, maybe around $20 if the game is less than a month old, in which case, the same title may later appear on a store shelf for 2 to 5 times the price they originally bought the game from the customer from. Because of this, many gamers have described GameStop's trade-in market as a ripoff and a system that prices on the ill-informed. Developers have criticized this practice too, claiming that it cuts into their own profits. Basically, no one aside from GameStop's higher-ups likes this used game market.
Jackpot, baby! Jackpot!
Want money from your tech? GameStop delivers. Right now, get up to $400 cash when you trade your old smartphone. Fast, safe, secure.
Number 5. Opened new copies.
We're gonna go play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Okay. Who's your friend?
It's my pre-order unicorn.
It is not unheard of for GameStop to sell previously opened copies as new. When it comes to brand new, recently released games, customers typically receive a factory sealed copy that the employee takes from a security display. But these displays only have so much room. If a game is somewhat older, buying a new copy typically involves the employee fishing the disc out from behind the counter and putting it in the empty display case. Yes, the disc itself is technically new, but the case has been opened and the disc taken out. Therefore, the game should not be classified as new. This may not bother some, but it's a scummy line-crossing business practice to others. Number 4. The 2017 GameStop Hack. In April of 2017, GameStop was notified of a security breach that occurred between August 2016 and February 2017. Hackers managed to access customer information and begin selling names, addresses, and credit card info to third parties. Customers who were affected were not notified until 2 months later in June 2017. In the digital world, it's hard to blame companies for falling victim to hackers. However, it begs the question why it took so long for affected customers to be told if they were affected. This may not have been enough for hundreds of people to abandon GameStop, but this could have played into their more recent troubles. Number 3. Firing employees over used games.
I don't think you're taking this seriously.
Remember when we said that employees were threatened with severe punishment if they didn't meet their Circle of Life quota? Well, that severe punishment sometimes entails complete termination. Following Schreier's article, he was approached by hundreds of GameStop employees, all of who had their own unique Circle of Life horror story. A common thread between the stories is the persistent threat of termination. Many people reported the fear of losing their jobs, while others stated that they themselves, or people they knew, were fired over the program. One former assistant manager even admitted that his district leader fired all the employees from a specific store. Yeah, this company doesn't mess around. Number 2. Selling used games as new.
Wreak more havoc with the hand cannon. Get it when you pre-order Rise of the Tomb Raider only at GameStop. Play, trade, save, repeat.
Selling open games as new is one thing, but selling used games as new is something else entirely. As reported by Kotaku's Brian Crescente and Michael McWhorter, GameStop employs something called the checkout policy. According to them, associates are allowed to check out one item of store merchandise for personal use for up to 4 days. They do so on the pretense of evaluating a game and learning about its contents in order to better inform the customers. GameStop employees and managers not only confirmed this practice to Kotaku, but also stated that these discs often get mixed in with the display copies behind the counter. So not only can a new copy be opened, but the disc may have already been taken home and played.
Power to the players.
Want more video game content? Check out our gaming channel Mojo Plays and discover games and ideas you never knew existed. With more lists, breakdowns, and our latest series, Arcade Roulette.
Justin and John are in.
Oh.
Hey, is that Porky Pig? There's a lot of things being ripped off in this game.
Number 1. Essential business.
I want to show you, there was a huge lineup outside EB Games on Yonge Street, just south of Dundas. Look at this, Melissa. That's not social distancing.
That's incredible.
GameStop made what could have been the biggest blunder of their lifetime during the 2020 pandemic. GameStop claimed that they, quote, enable and enhance their customers' experience in working from home and were therefore considered an essential service. This decision earned widespread condemnation, and GameStop employees reported that the company was not enacting proper health and safety measures. These measures included telling employees to, quote, tape a GameStop plastic bag over their hand and arm while interacting with the customers. GameStop eventually caved to the pressure and announced that they would be closing all stores on March 22nd, 2 days after the release of Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing New Horizons.
The company says it'll continue to pay employees whose hours have been cut.
Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you like the music playing right now, be sure to check out the full song right here.
Quarantine,